This thing here is pretty damn good VR headset. So, am I ready to ditch my cockpit for this, as so many of you have said that I actually should do? Okay, in my previous video I said something. I'll try some mixed reality setups someday once I get my hands on a good setup. So the nice people at Pimax reached out and asked if I would like to try out their Crystal Super headset. While this is not actually a mixed reality headset, I'm still curious and said yes. So this thing is not mine to keep. I'll need to return it, and Pimax is not paying me anything to do these videos. But there are affiliate links and a discount code in the description if you're considering getting one and would like to support the channel a bit. That won't cost you anything extra. But now, let's get started with setting this thing up, and today try it with Star Citizen. With my superior innate cable management skills, I think I should have become a network engineer. But after the headset was plugged in and all the software were installed, I thought I would just try turning the VR mode on in Star Citizen and launch the game. Well, that didn't work, so I guess I'll need to actually figure out what needs to be done. So I had to install Steam VR, change some settings there, and finally turn the VR mode on inside Star Citizen. Also, I installed Reset since one guide said I should get that one too, but one other guide didn't even mention it, so I'm not sure if that was necessary. There is a ton of different VR settings I could fine-tune here, but that's for later time. Now I just want to get this thing working and jump into the verse. And that's what I did. Life is a funny thing with everything going on in life, like work and family with 2 kids. This was my first time logging into 4.6, so I had to start with creating my character. I think I'll go with this epic mustache this time. And I thought I would spawn in Horizon just to get a chance to see the floating city in VR. But I actually spawned inside my hangar. So, as the first thing, I decided to head back to experience the Horizon in VR. Also, the inventory seems to have some issues in this patch, not sure if this general issue or just VR specific. Hello. Yeah, overall the experience is pretty much what you could expect from the VR. It's much more that you actually are in there and watching through a television. At this point I decided to increase the visual quality preset, and it really wasn't the right decision. Horizon is always a sure way to tank the FPS, and with VR it's not really that good thing. But after a short tour, which was nice but nothing mind-blowing, I figured it's time to head to space where the frame rate is much better. Just for flying to Seraphim Station, I decided to use my Asgard, which is among the bigger ships I have. Most of them are just small fighters. And I do have to admit that the sense of scale is much more impressive in VR. But it's something you would have to experience yourself. It's not something that I can share with you on the screen. Okay, now the interesting stuff. I need to turn the ship on, so let's activate the pass-through. I can't see anything on the screen. I really don't remember the keybinds, so let's... I guess you can do it with the mouse. Here, flight ready. That was it. And let's try find... Okay.
Takeoff complete.
This one is easy to find.
Landing gear raised.
These UI elements feel really strange. That's not kind of weird thing. It starts to think because part of them are real close to me and part of them a bit farther away. So I guess that's something where I would need to just tweak the settings or something like that. Okay, where did I have my... This one? Oh. Okay, what's this one? The first flight experience felt a bit disorienting. Not bad, just different compared to what I was used to.
Landing gear deployed.
But after the landing, I decided to take a short break and switch my glasses to a bit smaller ones. If this was my own set, I would order the prescription lenses for this, but using smaller glasses already made a difference. After the change, I went for what I really wanted to do, some space combat in a small fighter. Alpha Wolf is truly fun and I decided to go with MRT since it wouldn't take ages to complete the mission. Also, if you want to see me try to make a video just about space combat where I try to combine a couple of external camera angles with VR, let me know in the comments. Okay, first I need to turn this on. I cannot use the screen, but I think I had this. No, I didn't. Yes. Nope, this is working. Eventually, I found the flight ready button and was ready to go. The thing is, the normal VR glasses are not meant for full physical cockpit experience. But to be honest, that's not an issue for most of the people. I can turn the pass-through on by tapping the side of the headset 2 times, but it's not really a solution for using the actual cockpit. And I'm slowly getting better doing this blinded, it would seem.
Thank you. Please visit.
And just some flying around the Seraphim station before going forward. Like I mentioned before, the sense of scale is much better here.
Quantum drive disengaged.
The thing is that I'm seeing everything in as double all the elements if I'm not concentrating, and if I'm looking at them then I'm seeing the rest of the stuff double. I don't know if the settings thing. And then it was time for some actual space combat. So, well, the enemy wasn't actually reacting here yet, so it's not that difficult. But like I mentioned before, the flight feels a bit disorienting, not because the VR itself is worse or better, but it's just different. So if I would spend a couple of hours playing like this, it would most likely get much better, and I would get much better. So I'm not a good pilot, I don't have that much time to practice, but I'm playing even much worse level than normally here. Also, there is quite a lot of rubber banding going on today.
Target destroyed. Under attack.
And then the main target, and like I said, I'm not a good pilot in any way, but I'm not this bad pilot. Also, this Vanguard appears to be quite tanky. I'm also getting blacked out far more often than I'm used to. I don't know if it's something they have changed for this patch or because I haven't yet learned to actually play in the VR, but it's just an interesting thing to notice. Notice that it's happening all the time.
Target destroyed.
And now, time to head back home. So, what's my take on VR after one Star Citizen session? Am I ready to sell my cockpit?
Drive disengaged.
Well, first thing I say is that if you're not into this cockpit stuff and don't have other issues with VR, this is really an excellent way to make the game far more immersive. I would need to tweak the settings a bit more though. But for me, it's not a replacement for my physical cockpit. As I've mentioned before, designing and building this stuff and enjoying it while playing is really a major part of my hobby. Also, making the build videos is a fun little extra. If I would own this headset, I could see myself using it for Star Citizen occasionally to get a bit different experience, but it would absolutely not replace my cockpit with triple screens. Also, it's still some extra weight on your head, so it's not really for relaxation where I just want to sit down and enjoy gaming with my setup, and perhaps even open a beer while at it. But I do have at least one use case outside Star Citizen where VR might be a superior option even for me. I'm going to make a video about that later, and while I have this headset, I'll make a few more VR related videos in the near future. But in any case, if you're considering getting one for yourself, there's the referral link and code in the description. And as always, thanks for watching and hope to see you next time.